Hello there and welcome again on Politic Tube. This is Yunus speaking, and I'm gonna talk again about the Russo-Ukrainian war. If you are new to this channel, make sure to like and subscribe. I would be so thankful for your support. And on this video, we have a lot of updates, especially the latest Ukrainian attacks on, and also on this video, we're gonna predict the next move of the Ukrainians counterattack, especially on the region of Zaporozhye and on the region of Kherson. Then let's jump on the map here. The latest news still from the same area. As we know, the Ukrainians has launched, we can see its counteroffensive, especially in the region of Zaporozhye and the region of Donetsk. The latest news has said that the Russians had took back the village of Neskuchne, and also the Russians took back all this line, and also the Russians had took back the villages of Levadne and Olhivsky. I would like to mention that the Ukrainians were almost taking control the village of Priutne, but the Russians, it looks like they have several lines of defense, and it looks like the Russians now are defending positively by retreating at the beginning of the Ukrainian attacks, and after that bringing more reinforcements, and after that counter attacking the Ukrainians and taking back the lost positions. But there is some kind of breach only in this place and the north of the village of Novodonetsk. The latest news has said that still the clashes over this area, and there is no information which one exactly who control this area until now. As we can see, the Ukrainians are still focusing on attacking this place. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, that Ukraine has lost around 3,500 soldiers, and also the Russians has destroyed a lot of armored vehicles. Well, there is this information is coming just from one part. We did not hear exactly what the Ukrainian Defense Ministry has said yet, but it looks like it's a huge offensive from the Ukrainian parts. But this one and this attack has a very big similarity about what happening last year, especially at the end of September. As we know exactly that the Ukrainians started them offensive on the region of Kherson. As we remember that Ukrainians kept pushing all over this area, and the Russians was defending with around 25 to 30,000 soldiers, and in the same time the Ukrainians has suffered a lot of losses, but they kept moving and moving like for a month or 2 months, and after that we became surprised when the Ukrainians launched them real offensive on the Kharkiv region. As mean the Ukrainians had a plan to keep pushing on just one area, and by that the Russians will have only option to reinforce it. As we remember, the Russians were defending them positions that time with almost 100,000 Russian soldiers, and they did not do yet some kind of partial mobilization. So the Russians had no choice only to reinforce that time the Kherson area with more soldiers and more equipment, especially that time from the region of Kharkiv. And when the Ukrainian saw this opportunity that the Russian defenses has become weak on the spot of Kharkiv, that time the Ukrainians has launched them a major attack by taking the whole region of Kharkiv, and also some parts from the region of Luhansk, and also taking back a very important cities like Liman and Izium. So now we can understand why the Ukrainians, even after the such kind of losses, they still and they kept pushing on this area. And the latest news also, they start also pushing on these areas, starting from the city of Yorkivka. So the Ukrainians now are pushing all over this area, and also from the area of Bakhmut. The Ukrainians, they reached the northern outskirts of Bakhmut, especially in the village of Berkhivka. The latest news said that the Ukrainians now they took control of all of this forest area, and they are now on getting closer to enter the village of Berkhivka. And really, if Berkhivka has fall on the hands of the Ukrainians, so the northern outskirts of the city of Bakhmut, and especially on this intersection, it will be in a dangerous position. So going back to the region of Kherson, as I said, that the Ukrainians are just pushing from one area in order that the Russians maybe they will bring some kind of reinforcement from other areas to this area, and the Ukrainian they will wait that any kind of weak spot gonna be appear in the future on the Russian defenses. But there is an issue here that, as we know, last year the Russians was defending just with 100,000 soldiers. But at the end of January 2023, the Russians announced a partial mobilization of 300,000 soldiers. Now, as the latest statistic, now the Russians are defending with almost 450,000 soldiers, starting from Kherson until the region of Luhansk. And it could be hard for the Ukrainians that the Russians will bring some kind of reinforcement from another places in order to protect this area, because as we know now the Russians has a lot of reserve on the region of Zaporozhye, and in order to protect the region of Zaporozhye from this attack or this Ukrainian attack, they will bring a reserve from the region of Zaporozhye. They don't have to bring reserves from another place like from Luhansk or from Donetsk or from let's say Kharkiv. No, who is deployed in Zaporozhye gonna fight in Zaporozhye without going to other front lines. So yes, that was the latest update, and I think the Ukrainians now they are doing the same move, same like what happened in 2022, and they are doing the same kind of maneuver and the same plan. And honestly, I don't think so that the Russians they will fail. I think the Russians are ready now to defend well those four areas, and I know that maybe there will be some kind of negotiation, and both parts they are looking now to get some kind of gains on the ground, and after that they will go for negotiations. And the Ukrainians, I think them goal it will be to reach the Azov Sea over here, that they when they go to the negotiation they have some kind of strong cards they can put it on the table in order to negotiate well with the Russians. So yes, guys, that was the latest update about the Russo-Ukrainian war. As you can see, I have tried maybe to predict or some kind to analyze the current Ukrainian move, and I think maybe they are doing the same like what they did in the last year. And it looks like now the Russians are managing well the situation, and I think that the next days there will be a lot of surprises. So yes, guys, I would like so much to thank you again for your support. And again, if you are new to this channel, make sure to like and subscribe. I would be so thankful for your support, and I wish for you a good evening. Goodbye.